laid up some years ago. Legs went all lame on him all of a sudden, and he's been to bed ever since.
That's Jake Connors, that is. And you should worry more about his own end if you ask me. It'd be near enough for a feller his age. Oh, I don't mean him no harm now, but he's such a contrary old bugger. He's got little room to talk about Nell or no one else.
That's Joseph, me husband. And listen how he goes on about the other fellow. And he was too lazy to do so much as walk about the place. And he's got the day there fair worn out from lying in it day and night. And the drink is the worst of it.
That's Elizabeth Casey. Poor woman does have a burden to bear, but if I had to live here the rest of my life, I'd probably end up an alcoholic myself. She seems like a decent woman, though, and deserves better than she has.
It's Michael Kennedy, the new school teacher. A bit of a disappointment, really. He's going to run into some trouble if he doesn't crack down on the discipline. You spare the rod, you spoil the child, I always say. But I guess you'll learn that the hard way. What bothers me most is his complete lack of enthusiasm for church affairs.
That's Father Power, parish priest. A good priest he is, too. A bit on the stern side, I'll grant you that. But he's always been nice to me. He gave me a job as his servant girl. It's a job a lot of girls would like. And he says I'll be a nun someday if I work hard to say my prayers. I know a lot of people don't like
That's
Father
Jennifer
Power.
Burrows. So over the trees, like you said. A bit young for that, if you ask me. There's plenty of grown women in this house. Your husband's darn sight better than a young thing like that. You'd be more proper too. For the priest not to have a young girl like that.
That's Mrs. Ennis. She's ready to pop a new baby any day now. She's only young, though you wouldn't say she looked at her. You know, her husband's a cotton industry. Well, he's never home, except in winter months. He works on a wither outside of Rosary. But you know, I never seen a woman like that going to church. She must have her knees more to the bone for me.
That's Billy Collins.
He's got
Got it all.
Jennifer!
If Billy hears you say he's gonna be so mad.
Why would you be mad?
Well, because it's a secret.
Can't you keep a secret?
Can't keep a secret, I don't like it. You must run, must laugh, must move your head.
I was young and in my prime, I saved myself for you. So sure was I, your love for me was safe and strong and true.
It is the year in our kind. The autumn sun, more brilliant than warm, has begun its angular ascent to the low heaven of Newfoundland moon. It pours its bright power over Maraschine Island, pushing the fog westward to sea. The day has just begun, but before this, the people have been talking about their lives.
In Maraschine, it's a crime to sleep in. Boys have been beaten for it. Girls kept indoors for it. Their parents, oh so much older and greedier perhaps about the time they have left, never commit that particular crime. They have been up and about for hours. Now Pippin, up at 7, is now down at the well where Jake Connor sees her leaning into it in an effort to bring up the bucket full.
Big old bitch, says Jake.
And ponders the wisdom of giving our swift kick in the behind to send her plunging headfirst down to the bottom of the well.
Yeah, but imagine the likes of it in the drinking well. She'd be the death of us all. Thinks Jake.
As Nell steps, none too graciously, into the center of her hoop, bends with a grunt to pick up her buckets, and begins to scrunch her way up the gravel path toward him.
And besides, Father Power would probably make me put pebbles in me shoes for penance, like Father McCarthy did that time I killed Aunt Aggie's cat. Morning, Nell, says Jake,
And walks on, hating her all the more, now that he's greeted her kindly and not had the courage to curse or ignore her. He walks on up Dickie's Hill, past Joe Casey's, where Joe is already in his first bottle of Big Dipper rum.
Here's to the boys of Florida now.
Soon, before he drops back onto the David, dead to the world.
Joe bellows this to his wife who's dusting her way through the kitchen. She waves her feather device with reverent vigor at each of the crucifixes, pictures of the Sacred Heart, and photos of Pope Pius XII as she goes.
Here's to the boys of the Eastern Light.
Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us.
Up on the hill above the jigging cove, the young Mrs. Ennis kneels at the altar rail of a church and prays to God and all the saints that when her time comes to give birth, the sunkers will stay still.
Dear God, God of all things, please let the sunkers be still when my baby comes forth.
The sunkers of Maraschine are the world's worst curse to mothers and mariners alike. When the sea is they lie like sleeping monsters out below the surface of the harbor's mouth, and only a master mariner can tell that they are there at all. But when they are breaking, when the sea erupts over them in a boiling mass of white foam, smashing itself to smithereens high in the harbor air, their deadly presence is plain for all to see. High on the cliffs along the northern rim of the harbor, all the white crosses, glistening now in the uncertain morning sun, mark with grim fidelity the unmarkable graves of seamen killed by the sunkers.
Good Saint Anne, Mother of Mary, help me in this, my hour of agony.
In the village, too, there are reminders. Living victims of the Sunker's curse. Exam, the ugly idiot girl. And Padzan, with the fair hair of clubfoot. And Rose in the bed, who has been bedridden so long, only the eldest of the elders can remember a time when she wasn't. These are the living. Over the years, over the centuries, countless other poor unfortunates whose lives or whose deaths, or both, make immeasurable the islanders' frantic fear of the Sunkers.
God, God of all things, please let them be still.
The young Mrs. Ennis had one child already. He was born when the Sunkers were breaking. Or at least that's what people remember 3 years later, when they found his bloated body floating in the harbor beneath his father's stage.
I tell you honest, sir, I can mind it like it was yesterday. The day that poor child was born, the Sunkers was breaking something terrible.
It was a job coming in the morning when the little lad was born. Them suckers was breaking mighty fierce. I can mind it like it was yesterday.
Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us.
Beside the path that leads from Hickey's Bottom to the Virgin Cove, there is a barren tree. Around its base and halfway to its full height, there's a pile of rocks. Hundreds and thousands of rocks, each one of them carried separately from the beach and placed in prayer at the base of the tree. The people call this tree the Naked Man. No one can remember exactly why, but old Jay Connors will tell you a tale that'll take hours to tell, of a young man from St. Leonard's who stayed one winter to court a girl from the Virgin Cove, and who disappeared one storm-stricken night, to be found only when spring came to melt away the snow and reveal his naked body sprawled at the base of the tree. Since that time, Jake will tell you,
Not a single leaf ever sprouted on that tree again.
Other people will tell you other stories. They agree on one thing only, that those who, for whatever reason, fail to pay the naked man his proper homage can expect little in their lives outside of ills and misfortune. When the young Mrs. Ennis leaves the church, with her belly full of baby and heart full of fright, she goes straight to the naked man and places a rock as high on the century-steep pile as her bulging body would permit. As Mrs. Ennis is performing her ritual, the Reverend Father Power is performing one of his own. How many times has he composed this same letter without ever sitting down to write it?
Dear Excellency, having given my mission here at Merishing considerable thought, it behooves me to inform you that I failed miserably. It isn't that attendance at Sunday Mass is down, or that the Sunday collection plate is diminished much. The problem, Dear Excellency, is they persist in practicing so many of their pagan rites, along with their Christian duties. For all my sermons and prayers, they remain a very superstitious people. They believe it is bad luck to coil a rope against the sun, to buy a broom in May. That none of the men here will put to sea without a branch of witch hazel aboard. Believe death is foretold by a bird entering a room or by a dog bearing an object near one's home. They have a tree here, with a name which decency forbids me to mention, with which they practice the most open form of idolatry you can imagine. Visitors to the parish are often heard praising this unchristian behavior, thinking it quaint, and in some unfathomable manner somehow worth preserving. No doubt they are unaware that these people harbor a fear of the Sunkers, for instance, that is no less real to them than the fear of Satan himself. I've tried my best to rid our people of these pagan idolatries, but to no avail. I confess my failure to you, to God. I humbly request a transfer to another parish. Yours in Christ, Gerald Power.
Upon completing
punish me by making me spend the rest of my life here. If, on the other hand, I don't send such a letter, they'll think I'm happy here and still let me here for the rest of my life. What an awful state to be in. Good morning, Jennifer.
Says the Reverend Father Power to Jennifer Byrne, his maidservant, thinking that she looks rather nice this morning. Then saying the act of contrition for thinking it.
Good morning, Father. Your breakfast is ready, Father, if you are, Father.
At least Jennifer, precious child that she is unlike the others. A daily communicant, a virgin, a trustworthy housekeeper. In fact, she's the only one I ever had who could cook an egg properly.
He thinks as he severs off the top of an egg with a single meditative motion of a spoon. It is something he has learned to do over years of practice and thousands of mangled eggshells.
Perfect as I knew it would be. The yolk soft, the white hard. Mother Superior will be getting her prayers worth and more when Jennifer takes the veil. No doubt about it. Jennifer, child, why in the heaven's name are you going around making the sign of the cross while you watch the toast burn? You know how I hate burnt toast.
I'm sorry, Father. It's just that you spilled some salt, Father. It's terrible bad luck, Father.
Whenever Jake Connors walks past the graveyard up on the hill, which is something he does every morning of his grey-haired days, he thinks of Herb Follett and smiles to himself. Herb Follett had been a friend of Jake's. He died of gunshot wounds a few years back.
They found him dead this morning
Dead?
in the turnip cellar.
Dead in the turnip cellar.
Shot himself with his own 12 gauge.
Shot his own self in the turnip cellar.
Suicide.
Suicide in the turnip cellar.
Poor old Herb.
Oh, not a very Christian thing to do.
Poor old fella.
Not a very Catholic thing to do.
Dead and gone.
Well, sure now they won't bury him in the graveyard even.
Not likely. Poor old soul.
Imagine that.
Poor old Herb. Dead
May he rest in peace.
forever.
In the turnip cellar?
So, in accordance with the wishes of Holy Mother Church, old Herb was buried by a clump of birches just outside the barbed wire fence that marked the boundary of the consecrated soil. Then one year Father Power came, full of ambition for his new parish, and decreed that the graveyard must be expanded. And since that time, Herb Follett's remains have lain smack dab center of the holy ground, birches and all. Old Jake, as usual, takes notice of the birches waving up there in the wind and smiles to himself.
They should have known better than to try and keep old Herb Follett out of any place he had a mind to go into.
Chuckles Jake to himself. As he recalled the time Father McCarthy
God rest his cantankerous old soul.
ordered the ushers to evict old Herb from midnight mass one Christmas Eve, because Herb was on one very merry bender and kept interrupting the solemnity of the service with great vulgar belches which echoed like thunder throughout the wooden cavern of a church.
Well, they threw him out all right enough.
Chuckles Jake to himself.
By Jesus, didn't he get the last laugh when he comes roaring in through the vestry door? And wasn't he a sight and a half to behold when he leapt up into the middle of the altar and bellows a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you before he goes arse over kettle over the communion rail and lands with a plump like a flatfish in old Miss Collins' lap.
The sun is higher now, and this fog is farther out to sea. The white apron wives are hanging close to the mines, with the prayers that the fog stay off of it. The children are about their games, scratching their strange pattern in the gravel with sticks, skipping with stones on the harbor waters, or pretending to be fish killers and skippers like their fathers, or housewives as good at cookies as their mothers. They see Jake making his slow, easy way up the hill towards him, and greet him as they do every day.
Okay, Connors, he's no good. Chop him up with firewood. If the fire do not burn, turn him into a big fat worm.
There was a time when Jake would have chased after them and taught them something about minding their manners. But at that time, there would have been no need. At that time, they pretended that they were Jake Connors, skipper of the Swallow, most renowned fish killer in all the bay. At that time, they tried to walk like he did, wear his cap like he wore his, perched ever so precisely on the side of his head.
But now it is different, just like everything else is different. And besides, old Jake is too slowed up with old age and rheumatiz to catch them, even if he cared to.
Okay, Connors, he's
Wait a minute, whole crowd of you!
Yells Jake, and goes on up the hill, where he meets Michael Kennedy, the school teacher, coming down.
Good day there, young man.
Good day, Mr. Connors. How are you?
Fine enough for an old fella.
Tell me, how do you like it here on the island?
Oh, fine, sir, just fine.
Says Michael, and immediately begins hating himself for saying so. What he would say if he could be honest about it is, I can't stand it, sir! But he doesn't say any such thing. And he hates himself for it, because he realizes he's never going to tell these people the truth about themselves or their lousy little island. And he hates himself for it all the more, but because he realizes too that they don't care one way or the other how he feels about them. And this makes his lie altogether useless. He liked it here when he first arrived straight from college. Living folklore, that had been Michael's first impression.
A seafaring people, fishing boats in the water, garden parties and week-long weddings, homebrew and moonshine, fiddles and accordions, seagulls and superstitions. The stuff that novels, poems and plays are made of.
That's what he thought when he first arrived. But since that time, he's come to see through it all. Come to see everything in an altogether different light. Nell Pittman is no longer a colorful character to Michael.
She's a small-minded, half-witted old hag who doesn't have enough decency to keep her stockings from falling about her wretched ankles.
Joe Casey is no longer an interesting old fellow.
Ha! He's a mentally diseased, good-for-nothing drunk. A burden to his wife and an agony to his
And
neighbors.
the children, too, who at first fascinated him with their skipping rhymes and hopscotch songs, have ceased to be cute.
They are insensitive little brats who smell constantly of wood smoke and stale urine.
In fact, none of the people are any longer the folk of Michael's folklore.
They are much too petty to be fascinating, too greedy to be admired, too narrow-minded to be interesting, and too self-centered to be lovable.
Not at all the stuff that novels and poems and plays are made of.
Well, I suppose here's as good as any place. One place is the same as any other, I suppose.
Says Jake to Michael Kennedy, not believing a word of what he says.
No, sir, I must say this place is better than most as far as I'm concerned. I can't stand cities. Too much of a rat race. It's different here, though. People are closer to the earth. Closer to the things that really count.
Michael detests himself for saying such things, and afraid that he might say more of the sort, he bids good day to old Jake and continues on his way down the hill.
You'll be sure to keep them toilets clean up there in the schoolhouse, young man.
Says Jake, even though he doesn't say it loud enough for Michael or anyone else to hear.
Nothing that will get the women riled up like dirty toilets in the schoolhouse. One word gets home about toilets and the women start circulating petitions. Never a mention that their own brood makes the dirt, just ups and start circulating petitions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you got filthy toilets up there in the schoolhouse. Just a word of advice is all. Fair enough?
When Jennifer Burns finished the breakfast dishes at the parish house, she gathers up all the clothes to be washed, all the linens, and all the woolens, and all the cottons, everything that is dusty, dirty, soiled, wrinkled, stained, or spotted. Everything, that is, except for the Reverend Father Power's underwear. That she has never seen. Father Power washes it himself, hangs it by the chimney to dry, puts it in a drawer marked private, locks it, and carries the key with them always. He didn't say that she wouldn't have to do this chore. It quite simply never turned up among the clothes to be washed. But as usual, Jennifer has plenty to wash, and as usual today, she's late getting it out.
It's a fine day for washing. Wonder when she'll be coming.
Whispers Billy Collins into the wind, as he sits in the meadow above the parish house, waiting, as he always does, for Jennifer to hang out the wash to dry.
She makes me heart pound, that Jennifer does. Makes me all shivery when I see her, and I don't know if I'm coming or going or not. God, there's a decent breeze that'll blow her skirt today. Just the thought of it makes me dizzy. Well, I'm too wicked to be alive. Wicked brilliant, but that's me. I haven't made a good confession in months, and Miss Me used to duty too. Good God. I'll burn in hell forever if I don't stop thinking wicked thoughts. And she, doing her holy duty of taking out the priest's own wash. I could think of her hair, though. No sin in that, I hope. I wonder how long it is, really, when it's not tied up in a ball like that. Long to her middle and round and shorter.
finest seaman I ever known.
You never knew none of them. You're drunk out of your skull and disgrace to yourself and your religion.
Here's to the lot of them. The finest crown I ever known, and then will take your bloody religion.
He drinks, he lies, his habits I despise.
It's always after me to be a straight man.
All day I work, but do you think I could get any peace?
No one could ever nag me like she can.
Oh Lord, how could I be so blind to marry a man of this kind?
I feel like I've got to lose myself. If not in rum, why not in wine?
Oh Lord, why do I bother?
No woman don't complain.
And would you please try to explain why I am so unhappy? Our separate stars are overlapping.
But my
All
brain
day long I
is
stay
one
home
thing
doing
that keeps
dishes,
me
making
alive.
beds. Perhaps I should find me a better man instead.
All the wine, all the ale,
And guide me through life.
I know
What
when to
am I
stop
saying?
and never go too far.
Already a wife. And
When the day
comes to an end, weeping through the night.
Well, it all depends.
Oh Lord, why do I bother?
Back in the bottom, in her careless kitchen, Nell Pittman goes about her day's chores, and wishes to herself, as she usually does, that her father was dead.
It's not fair. The good Lord knows it's not. Not fair at all. A fine young woman like myself, stuck every bit of a lifetime with an invalid to look after. It's no proper way for a woman to live. There was a time, I tell you, there wasn't a man on this shore who would have liked to latch up with Nell Pittman. But what is it that I ends up? No man but my own father, and him all blind and crippled up and not able to tend to himself at all. Oh, me dear handsome husband. Oh, me darling boy. Whatever in the world happened to you? All my life I waited for you, until I had no life left. And still you never came. Well, there was a lot of men I could have had. A lot that found me attractive. Would want to walk me home on a winter's evening. A long distance, too. And they would have, if I'd let them. But I didn't let them, because I was waiting for you. Still, you never came. I never even got to lay eyes on you. Oh, and look at me now. Just look at the state I'm in. God forgive me, he's me own father, but I wish he'd died. Honest to God, I do.
At the end of his walk out on the jawbones, old Jake Connor stands looking out to sea and says to no one but the gulls careening about his white-capped head,
Me life is over. Over and done with. Here I am, still walking around, thinking thoughts, talking words to myself with no purpose to them whatsoever.
Old Jake turns from where he stands to go back down the hill to his home. And for a moment, it seems all right that he is alive. For a moment, he can almost imagine something worthwhile, something akin to dignity, in the rheumatic posture of his old and aching age. But as he nears the edge of the village, and hears the children's noises come up from down on Hickey's stage, he feels even more that he's indeed overstayed his welcome here on his island home.
Cinderella dressed in yellow, down in the corner, kissing her pal. Hug and kiss and kick him in the pants. That's the end of your romance.
You know what the teacher told his sister?
Teacher, Screecher, what'd he say?
He said that babies come from inside their mother's stomachs.
Well, a teacher tells why.
How do you know, Smarty?
Smarty Barty, your mother told me so.
You said a bad word.
What's a bad word?
What you said. If your mother heard you, she'd wash your mouth out with sunlight
and the fog has come back in, rolling itself end over end across the jawbones, around Soldiers Point, and finally into the village itself. By mid-afternoon, everything has turned grey. The blue sky has turned grey. The white houses, the purple hills, and the green sea have all turned grey. In his grey sea dream, Joe Casey stands steady on the deck of the Kittiwake as she rides out a gale bound down for Buren. He stands steady as she plows headfirst into the waves. He stands steady as she shudders to rest on the water, amongst the bones of all the long-dead seamen who make up his days and nights.
Hello, me bonny heroes! Oh, don't be startled now, it's only me, Joseph. Well, Joseph Casey, his own self, come down and drop a rum with you. And here's to ye, the whole over crowd of you. Fine white-washed friends indeed.
This private study in the parish house. Father Power counts the receipts from Friday night's bingo game and blesses his parishioners for having attended in full force. His parishioners always do attend in full force, though, for they like bingo, and they like having some place to go. And in Mirasheen on a Friday night, there is little else to do. But for a brief moment, Father Power seems pleased with himself. But when the moment passes, he pours himself a glass of Benedictine and wishes he had someone to talk to him.
It's not an easy thing for a man like me to live among these people. In the seminary, it was different. One had friends to play handball with, to discuss theology with. People of your own kind, similar tastes and ideas. But not here. Here I am, not yet an old man, already imprisoned in an empty house on an empty island, empty of everything except that which pertains to my priestly duties. Certainly empty of interest, comradeship, love. Don't misinterpret me, Lord. I do love these people in the Christian sense of the word. But in the ordinary human sense of it, I've nothing in common with a single soul here. Forgive me, Lord. I do find it difficult to love them. Except, of course, Jennifer, precious child that she is. If I accomplish nothing else than bringing her securely to the service of God in a convent, I've not failed entirely. There's little comfort in that at the moment. I'm still very much alone. Loneliness is a terrible burden to bear. A terrible burden. But I shouldn't complain, I guess. Such sacrifice is necessary for the greater honor and glory of God, and the eternal salvation of man. Necessity of sacrifice. There's a sermon in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Father Power sips the last of his Benedictine and retires to the bedroom to wash his underwear.
Back in the bottomless kitchen, Nell Pittman looks at herself in the looking glass, begins to cry. Inside, she remembers how she used to look, although she never did. And her heart breaks for love of the nameless lover, who never came, although she waited for him all of her life.
What was it that kept you away so long, my love? Was it gales and stormy seas? Or was it that you just never knew? Never knew I was waiting. And never knew I was nice. Yes, I was. I was nice once. With nice hair. People used to say what nice hair I had. And cheeks, too. They used to say. But that was long ago. Long ago when I didn't mind the waiting. Long ago when I used to put perfume in the pillows. Nice smells it was then. Clean smells. Lying in the perfume and waiting for you. And you. Coming in the night. Coming over the water. Singing like a sailor. Shining in the moonlight. Knocking at my door. But never being there when I went. All those nights you knocked, but never came. With perfume and pillows.
As she goes about her business in the parish house, dusting and polishing, picking things up and straightening things out, Jennifer Byrne wonders.
What will it be like in the convent? I had an aunt once who was a nun. wonder, do Father Power really mean it that I'll be going to join the convent? Do nuns ever wish for husbands, I wonder? I can't imagine Aunt Matilda ever wishing for a husband. I wonder what it'd be like to be married. I suppose it'd be nice, if your husband was nice. I wonder what kissing's like. Is it kissing that gives girls babies, I wonder? I saw Mary Ryan getting kissed lots of times and she never had no babies. But I saw Lucy Wilson getting kissed once. She had a baby. I wonder if I could have babies. Well, not if I'm going to join the convent, I couldn't. I wonder, will I smell like candle wax when I'm older?
In his worn-out, weather-beaten hideout of a house on the beach, old Jake Connor sits and wonders what to do with himself. He turns on the radio and hears,
In the meantime, we'll bring you an interlude of recorded music.
and turns it off again, and wishes he had a batch of beer to drink. But he doesn't, though he wishes for it every day. Old Jake can never bring himself to fix a batch of brew which won't be fit to drink for another five days or more.
What's the point in it? Who's to say that I'll be alive 5 days from now? Old Jack Wilson did that one time. Put down a brew, he did. We drank it at his funeral wake. And bloody good brew it was too, but hardly much good to old Jack Wilson lying there, dead as a doornail in his coffin, whilst Mickey Collins spewed his guts out all over the living room floor. God rest his old soul.
Old Jake considers taking a walk up to Joe Casey's, but decides against it when it occurs to him that Joe is probably filled to the gills by this time and going on with his nonsense about ships and dead sailors.
Old fool hardly ever set foot on the water, and him going on all the time about boats and stuff. I wouldn't mind at all a drop of his rum, but I'll be damned for all eternity before I'll put up with his kind of foolishness.
Health to the Gloucester girls.
Bellows Joe out of a salty dream as Elizabeth reaches across him and to straighten the crucifix hanging delicately above the daybed.
Immaculate Heart of Mary, pray for us.
Whispers Elizabeth to heaven as she wonders why God in his wisdom ever created men.
As the grey, dim-lit day dims itself down suddenly to darkness, the ragged-edged little circle of the world that is Merashee begins to shake itself out of its overlong afternoon nap and move about. The women gather up the supper dishes and return them gleaming to their pocket places. They polish the stoves with paraffin and banish the children to the outdoor darkness. They scurry now like mice in a cellar from kitchen to shining kitchen about the harbor. It is visiting time.
Gallstones is what I got. That's what Mrs. Margaret told me. Do you remember that Mary Collins? And wasn't it gallstones she did? Terrible thing it was. I might have her yesterday. Her moaning and groaning all night long. Folks used to say it was ghosts.
Did you see that young Mrs. Ennis this morning? Seen her coming down from the church? And the size of her! It's hard to believe it's all baby, I said to Joseanne. Triplets she'll be having, I allow. And very
Never get
soon,
a bit
too.
of mail. Not even so much as a catalog. The last one I got over 2 years ago. From your brother's wife, Margaret.
That Michael Kennedy
The
should
twins
learn
are
me
just-
so sure. It's a wonder the children can hear him in the classroom the way he whispers. I almost missed under B14 altogether Friday night. I couldn't hardly hear him at all.
You'd think she was
Queen of England herself would.
Wait,
She's going to have
what?
a horror visit to call the big
Says,
one.
Carnation.
Not bored as they cuddles and the cannonball he does.
Ugh.
And that language that comes out of their mouths. And men, just infants too. And their mother standing there. Up to Father Powers. That's
You
what
know,
I
it's disgraceful the way he drinks. All the time, too. Don't know where he gets the money for it. Probably steals it out of church collection plate. I certainly wouldn't put it past him. I don't know how she puts up with it, though.
Dead on my feet, that's what I am. And do me best all the same, just as if I was feeling me best. But I'm coughing the whole night through, and I can't keep a bite of food down. Why, I allow I'll starve to death before long.
The men of the village, well-fed and friendly, gather on Hickey's stage as they have on such civil evenings for centuries past. They come as to a sacred ceremony, compelled, though not one would admit that he had left the cozy comfort of his well-kept kitchen just to be there. Yet each evening you will find them, the same men, in the same postures, seconds only, punctuated every now and then by the glow of a match held over a stubborn pipe, or by the sudden creak of the stage under a heavy footstep.
It'll be winter before you know it.
Well, winters ain't like they used to be.
Nothing ain't like what it used to be.
Used to be snow as high as the chimney. Used to be frost enough to freeze off fire.
Used to. There ain't nothing like it used to. Used to be the mass was said in Latin on account of the devil not being able to understand it. Well, here now it is in English, so I guess it don't make no difference if he understands it or not.
Now, leave religion till Sunday, as I says.
I'll leave her altogether for all I care. Well, but she's changing faster than you can keep up with her. Well, you can't get a hold of her anymore.
Same thing goes for everything, if you ask me.
Goddamn right. A man goes to work to make some sense out of something, and someone else comes along and rips her right abroad.
Reminds me what old Ish Ass was telling me just the other day. He said he got his winter's wood all chopped and stacked in the pot. Plenty of wood now in case of a long winter. Anyway, he says he gets it all done. He goes in the house to sit for a spell. And there's a woman up there asking if they can get an oil ring. Said she saw one cheap in a catalog full of fancy buttons and the like. Figured it'd be the proper thing to have. Old Nish Fair near jumped out of his britches. And his missus took to the backyard thinking he lost his mind and gone altogether mental. While me missus said she could hear the blasting coming out of his mouth all the way down past the job where she was picking partridge berries.
Well, now, there ain't no wonder about that. I never knew a man could curse as long or as loud as old Nish.
That man can curse the devil out of hell. There's no doubt about it.
I wouldn't blame him, though. Them bloody catalogs has got the women ruined altogether. They can't put up with nothing anymore, but it got to be brand new. And bloody well gear on top of it.
Well, it used to be. The only catalogs we ever saw around here was the little small ones full of kidney pills and liver tablets and whatnot. Now, if you got them so big a man can hardly lug them full of everything from a fingernail file to a flagstaff.
That's like I was saying, sure. It's the times by. Times is changing and then things is changing with it, and there ain't a bloody thing in hell that a man can do about it.
There's no moon tonight to light the dark, picket fence lanes. No moon to light the way from house to house. The children who but moments ago were annoying the hell out of old Jake Connors with their noises, exhausted now by their day-long fantasies, are tucked away in the silence of their haunted bedrooms. In the caverns and corridors of their dreams, they run motionless from their private terrors. Butterflies as big as houses, dragonflies with teeth like pitchforks, shadows that devour child flesh.
Billy Collins, no longer a child, has no thoughts of horror, and is in his easy after-evening mind. He sinks into the arms of Jennifer Byrne, and is swirled softly into an ocean of crisp green linen and swirling dark hair.
Jennifer Bird, you're as lovely as heaven, but you make me dizzy like dandelion wine.
When I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. As it must, I pray for strength to believe. Should I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. Have I a choice? Was I meant to be me? As I look and see all the children play, I wonder if I can delay all the growing up games that people play. Is it real? It's not real. Now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep. Once again, I crave for strength to be me. Have I a choice? Was I meant to be me?
There's no moon tonight to show us Michael Kennedy, the school teacher, sleeping sleepless in his attic room. In the classroom of his dreams, he confronts the monster of his misery.
It is tall and thin and draped in black. It has its arms outspread like a crucifix and wears a white celluloid collar around its neck. It has a bingo ball for a head with old 66 where its mouth should be. It carries in one hand a black book whose pages are dollar bills. In In the other hand, it wields a whip woven out of homemade socks. The monster slides towards Michael on its one huge pulpit-shaped foot. His scream dies in the darkness with no one to hear.
Suddenly there is a noise like trumpets. The Minister of Education appears out of nowhere, takes Michael's soul by the hand and leads it to heaven.
In the chaptered confusion of his dream, he sees heaven as a carnival, and God as a carnival barker, sing-songing slogans as the crowds passing a level high below.
See 10 million angels stand on the head of a pit. Meet the one, the only, the original Lazarus. You, the head of John the Baptist. Thrilled to the sights and the sounds of the heavenly host. Meet your righteous relatives. Come on, come all to the banquet hall. $1 will bring you eternal joy. Baptized children under 12, 50 cents.
The crowds pay no attention, but shuffle their way through the sawdust to the other end of the milky midway, where, on another platform, Salome slides her way through the dance of the 7 veils.
Above the tent door there's a sign. It is painted in plain red letters. The sign says, "Welcome to hell."
Stretching to see over the heads of the crowd, Michael catches a slight sight of silky thigh as Salome, with a bump and a grind, discards another veil. He breaks free of the Minister of Education and rushes headlong toward hell, yelling, "Bingo!
That's a great sleep, as she is of everything, with her head bowed, hair praying, holy water light. Mrs. Ennis touches an eroded rosary with one hand, and feels the baby turning somersaults within her with the other. She listens to the night. There's no sound in the sea, no sound in the wind, no sound in anything. The world lies still in the sea of silence. And for once, in this spray-splashed autumn week, the Sunkers are quiet. Mrs. Ennis listens to the quiet and prays for her baby to come.
Dear Lord, be merciful to me, a sinner. Give the power to make the Sunkers quiet. Give us the power for life and death. And then full 9 months gone. This is a lovely night, Lord. Mrs. Margaret could be here in a minute if I sent for her. I could born my baby tonight. The Sunkers is still. We have a chance then, Lord. And him had the chance. But the other one didn't.
She pulls in her stomach and prays for pain. But there's only a gentle tumbling within her. For a moment she's stirred by the compulsion to go to the naked man to place one more rock in supplication. But the moment drowns itself in the depths of her despair, and she sinks back, broken hearted, into her broken spring bed.
No use. No use for me. No use for you. But it ain't your fault, my child. My baby. Since your mother was born when the Sunkers was breaking. Just like your little brother. God rest his soul.
tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps on its petty pace from one day to the next. Whatever it is. Tomorrow will creep on its petty pace, that's for sure. Another day with a multitude of souls to pray for, no one to talk with. Another day of altar society meetings and choir practices. Which reminds me, I must find a way of getting Mrs. Margaret out of the choir. Such a good woman, and an expert midwife. But who in the heavens' holy name ever told the poor creature she could sing? But it's a small matter, I suppose. Why should I worry about it? I've put up with her for years. Probably because they don't know any better. Well, let them have it. Why should I worry? That's the gist of it. That's the sum total of my life here, worrying about such trifling matters. For all the worry, and all the meetings, and the books, and the trouble I've been through, can I say I've saved a single soul? Have I really done that? And if I haven't, isn't it all just a waste of time and energy? The only one I can see I've had any effect on at all is Jennifer. God love her. Wouldn't she be just the way she is anyways? Or did God send me here for her sake only? It's possible, I suppose. God works his miracles in strange ways after all. And if it's so, I can't complain. The girl's an angel, no doubt about it. She'll find happiness in the convent. She'll be protected there from all that's wicked and vile in this world. She'll be happy. It's God's will of that, I'm sure. And who am I, a poor mortal, to deny God's will?
In her crisp, clean linen room, in the downstairs half of the parish house, Jennifer Brewer kneels beside her bed to say a rosary. Thinks of boys.
I wonder if there's any that would like me much. Enough to marry? Am I good looking enough for a boy to like me? Maybe I smell like candle wax already. Nobody could like a person who smells like that. Maybe that's why Father Power is sending me away to be a nun. Anyways, I'm just as good looking as Sheila Connors, and she got no shortage of boyfriends. Even if Father Power do say she's not a good girl. I wonder why the boys like her so much, if she's not a good girl. Maybe some would like me too, if I'd let them. If I could go to dances at the school, maybe they wouldn't think I was so stuck up like they do. I should be at my prayers, and not thinking on such things. What kind of nun will I be if I can't even say my prayers like I should?
Well, Jennifer tries as she must to concentrate on her prayers. Old Jake Connors, on his way to his never-make bed in another part of the world entirely, decides that he won't live to see the end of the week, and feels a slight twinge of sadness in spite of himself.
There were good days in it. Young days, long ago. Days coming in off the water, coming in with a woman in the kitchen and youngsters in the garden. Days a man could get a hold of somehow and never even think of letting go. Long gone all that is now, gone beyond returning. So little difference it makes now. Time to let go of her. Ain't nothing left worth hanging on to. Nothing, anyways, that won't make a man awful tired. That's what I am now. Awful old. Tired as hell.
In the meantime, Joe Casey's Elizabeth reaches deep into her husband's sleep with her 40-fathom voice and drags him dazed to the salty surface of his drunken dreams. She hopes secretly that God, in his mercy, won't damn him to the everlasting fires of eternity. As he reaches below the daybed, pulls out a pint bottle of rum, takes a long swig and bellows,
There's the boys of the Eastern Light. God bless every single